Welcome back, all our 40K fanatics out there. I'm DJ.
I'm Lane.
And we are here with Tim's Nation to bring you our first 10th edition Pariah Nexus Warhammer 40K Battle Report. By 11th edition, it'll be like 20 minutes of the video just to label what we're doing.
It's 10.5, guys. 10.5.
Yeah, basically, it is. It is some huge changes. We have data slates. We have points. We have major rule overhauls. And of course, the Pariah Nexus deck.
New cards.
Yes. New cards, new missions. New is the motto of 40K right now. With that being said, we are also bringing some now we're breaking out of our usual. While Lane is still playing Marines, and I still bring Grey Knights, these are lists that we have not brought to the channel yet. With some new fancies in these lists as well, too.
Fancies. Oh, it's all fancy.
Fancies.
Yeah, doing some Iron Hands and a little bit different than some of the other Iron Hands lists I've run before. And because the Iron Storm Spearhead took some nerfs, I'm not taking all the enhancements that they nerfed because I'm just going to try to do it without them.
And today I'll be playing Grey Knights with 0 Dread Knights. That's right. No Nemesis Dread Knight chassis.
I am so relieved.
And no purifiers for the matter, too.
Jeez, yeah, what is this even?
This is infantry. With all that being said, the one last thing I gotta say before we jump over to the list is, guys, if you haven't subscribed to the channel already, please do turn on the bell to get notified on all the content we bring you here on the channel as we start to stumble through a lot of these new missions and figure stuff out. There are some of them are gonna take a little bit of time to look over as we notice when we started reading through them. We won't talk about that too much right now.
Oh no, we pulled Burden of Trust and then kept reading it. Like, nope, we're just gonna do something else. So
that one's
save that one for later.
Someone's probably gonna look at it and go, "Why? This one makes perfect sense. It's totally easy." Well, you know what? It did not to us. And there's pieces of that that are like, "Wait a minute. So you do what, and the where, and the who now?" So we'll leave that alone for right now.
Yeah.
So all right. There we go. That's what we're doing. This is what we're playing. Lane, what are you bringing today?
These are my Iron Hands and the Iron Storm Spearhead. I've had some fun with Iron Father Pharaohs, so that's why I'm running Iron Hands. So we have Iron Father Pharaohs. We have a Tech Marine who does have the enhancement Adept of the Omnissiah. This is the one that was not nerfed, that zeroes out a failed armor save. We've got a 6-man Aggressor Squad, Bolt Storm Aggressors. We've got 2 5-man Assault Intercessors with jump packs. We do have 3 3-man Plasma Inceptor Squads. We have a Ballistus Dreadnought. We have a Gladiator Lancer, 2 Gladiator Reapers, and a Vindicator I don't think I've had on the channel yet. And then a Land Raider Crusader. Points went down on the Crusader. Don't have quite enough points for the Redeemer, so we're running the Crusader today. DJ, what are you bringing?
All right, let's go. Grey Knights, and we are bringing silver galore, minus my unpainted Rhino, which I slapped in there for this list. I apologize. But traditionally, competitively, I have run the Grey Knights with the Dread Knights, and I do still think that is a very, very valid way to go. But new cards, new mission, new year, new me, new knights. We are bringing all infantry, and this list will specialize in secondary objectives. So we're going to see how this does. And what is a secondary specializing Grey Knights look like? Well, we have a 10-man squad of Terminators led by a Grandmaster with First to the Fray. We have a 5-man Terminator squad led by a Librarian with a Sigil of Exigence. 4, count them, 4 Grey Knight Strike squads, sticky objectives galore. We have 3 Interceptor squads, 2 of which are a 5-man, 1 10-man, and 1 unpainted white Rhino.
It's a Ghost Rhino.
Ghost Rhino. By Mattel. So, not sponsored. Yeah, you have a lot of tanks.
I do.
I don't have a lot of tanks.
No, you got 1, so it probably won't be around very long. But
you know, honestly, I don't know. My bet is that you're really not going to care about that Rhino very much as the game goes on.
Well, if I pull Bring It Down, that's the only thing you can go at. So I'll have to go with that Rhino. You pull Bring It Down, you have a bevy of choices.
And this is part of the reason that I do have just that 1 vehicle in there is I don't want you just to shuffle that out and just be that way. But as we know with Grey Knights, I can bounce all over the field. I have so many movement shenanigans. I also upset Elaine when I explained to him that Strike have Scout. He's like, why? You have are you done with the movement phase? Can you be done with the movement phase?
Yeah, that's just too many. Why? They already sticky objectives. Why do they also have Scout? I don't get it. All right, I'm done complaining about Grey Knight movement.
But all in all, like I told Lane, I feel like that Land Raider is going to just be an absolute menace in this game. I do not have the weapons to handle that in any way, shape, or form. I mean, my librarian, he might be the only thing that really can put a good dent into it. But otherwise, it's side cannons at strength 9 for only 2 damage. So I don't have the weapons to really go into that. And then for 1 command point, you smoke launcher, and there goes my AP. So there's that. Now, on the opposite side, I got 2 up saves for days.
Yeah, the Land Raider I'm taking today is the Crusader, so not the Redeemer, so not nearly as powerful. Obviously, it's 65 points cheaper now, the Crusader is. I do want the extra couple inches of movement because I'm just planning on throwing that thing up the table with aggressors in it as quick as possible. But yeah, it's I mean, it's a bunch of bolters mostly AP0 stuff on there, other than there's a 1 multi-melt on there, but it's mostly a bunch of AP0 bolters. So I don't think it's going to do much work into you.
No, not necessarily. And your list is built to be more of an all-comers, to take on more things. Mine is built to 100% just play secondary. So I'm expecting that a lot of my army is going to get beat up. But again, I have a lot of objective control. I have a lot of battle line. I have a lot of sticky objectives. So I could end up running away with a score and get myself into a position where you might not be able to catch up after just clearing my guys off the table. That's the goal of the army, is to just run that scoreboard up. But as we've noticed with this addition in Pariah Nexus, you do need to be able to score all 5 turns. So I got to keep some units back. Yeah,
we'll find out if you miss those Dread Knights too. We'll see if you miss that damage output.
I'm sure I will. But this was originally how I was playing Grey Knights at the beginning of the edition. I got 1 game with Josh. At first learning out the edition after playing it, I was like, I need to play Grey Knights. This is how this goes. And so it's a very similar style, very similar list. The Terminators are still going to be very powerful into this. They're going to be very tough to deal with just because of the 10-man brick specifically. So I'm glad I still have them. The Purifiers, I'd love to have them, but they hit it and they quit it and then they're dead. And then you just clear them out. So I don't feel like I'm going to miss them as much. 10-man Interceptor might not be the way to go, but I haven't run them really a lot, if at all. I want to try that out and see if more bulk around that speed. What are some things you're hoping for with your list?
Well, the Mercy's weakness strat went up to 2 CP, and I was really hoping to use that with the Gladiator Reaper because he's naturally sustained 2 into infantry. So oftentimes that 12-shot gun can get like 20 hits if I'm going into the Oath of Moment target. So we'll see if I can manage my CP well enough to actually use that, take advantage of that. But other than that, I do have a bunch of jumpy units. I've got 3 Inceptor squads, 3-man Plasma Inceptors, plus 2 jump pack Assault Intercessors. So I do have some mobility too to get around the table and do actions. I'm really curious. A lot of the secondaries are kind of tricky because you got to survive through your opponent's turn. And that means doing actions with a little 3-man or 5-man squads sometimes doesn't work out because they die in your opponent's turn. So it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Maybe the Land Raider will be doing actions. Yeah, that's it. The Land Raider is going to do actions.
Yes, because it's not OC0. Last question before we move into the game, and I'm just curious on this. Do you have any way of reducing any stratagems to 0 in your list?
No.
I do with the Grandmaster, so it's going to be interesting to see.
Once per game, right?
I know, still once per game. It was funny because, like, at the beginning of the edition, it was like, oh, that's just a misprint. You can do it more. And actually, one of the turrets I played it, I could do it every single turn because they're like, oh, it's just a misprint. Well, we're a year past, and it's still not been errated, so I guess that's not a misprint. But I can do that once. So that's interesting that's going to be something there because stratagems like, I don't know, interrupting combat, I could do that for free on the Terminators, and that could be very, very, very tough. An extra layer of defense on those guys to be able to hit first. So, all right, Lane. First game of 10.5. Odd or even?
I'm going to keep calling even.
That is an even. That is a 6 as I terrorize your deployment zone, and we will be back after deployment. All right, we are deployed. Lane, talk to us about what we are doing today.
We are playing the glorious game of Warhammer 40,000, and we are using the new Pariah Nexus deck. So our deployment is Tipping Point. This is the stepped one. It's like Hammer and Anvil, except in one half we go up 12 inches, the other half we go up 20 inches. And then we are doing, the mission rule is Stalwarts. Battle line units can shoot and still do an action, and can also do actions while they're in engagement range.
Hooray.
And then the mission, primary mission is going to be Terraform. So this is the one where you do an action on an objective in no man's land. you have to survive through your opponent's turn and still control the objective. But if you do that, you've successfully terraformed. And then in each of your subsequent command phases, you get 2 points for each one you terraformed, whether you control it or not. Other than that, you still do get 4 points for each objective you control in your.
Does that include the home field objective marker is worth 4 points?
Yes. Yeah. It doesn't exclude your home field objective. So even if you're not terraforming, you can still score all right. If you've got 3 objectives, you got 12 points. So. But obviously, terraforming gets you those points, and they keep going throughout the game, even if you're not on the objective anymore. So,
like when my army gets destroyed, I can still score points because there's no way to un-terraform an objective. Unlike banners in the past where they come down if you lose it, it remains. Once it's terraformed, it is terraformed.
And it says you can only do it on an objective that has not been terraformed. So if you terraform all 3 in the middle, turn 1, I can't terraform any.
I can also terraform your home field objective, theoretically, right? No. That you're from your army. Well, take it.
It says not within your deployment zone. So yes, you can terraform your opponent's deployment zone objective.
So and also it does complete at the end of your opponent's turn. That is a very, very important thing. So deployments in Deep Strike, I have 2 5-man interceptor, 10-man terminator, and a 5-man strike. Inside this little rhino right here, we have 10. That's 2 5-mans of the strike. So that we'll be able to scout because all models embarked into it have the scout keyword. Then we have a squad strike back here on the objective so we can stick your home field and get out of there. And then our 5 Terminators with the Libby with the Sigil of Exigence also hanging out back here because you know what? I'm Grey Knights and I can pick stuff up and bounce around the field. Over here we have the Interceptors ready to make a hit on that objective if need be. And then my 10-man bricks, so they're a little more survivable. And then that is it. Now, remember, the 10-man Terminator does have first the fray, so they can deep strike on turn 1. Lane, what are we doing?
We are not worrying about DJ's shooting, so we're deploying our tank to the line. Obviously, his shooting can do a lot of work into my infantry, but the tanks are all up in line, ready to go. So we've got the aggressors with Pharaohs inside the Land Raider, ready to move into the middle of the table and cause problems. We've got our tanks here. We've got our 2 Reapers ready to go out there and start doing their thing. And then jump back intercessors over here, ready to jump onto that objective if they're given the opportunity.
All right. So, Lane, what are you feeling? You want to go first or second in this mission?
Either one, I guess.
I mean, being a Grey Knight player, I always want to go second because it allows me to start moving more. But I do have things in there to be able to go first. I guess I would say I prefer still to go second. So
yeah, I think second is even better in Pariah Nexus. So we'll see.
All right. That's first not my choice today. Looks like I'll be going first. All right. We'll have a couple scout moves that we're just going to do and then move right into. And then Lane, it's time to play the game. Leading the way, we start with extend battle lines and secure no man's land. So no new fancy ones. I did draw a Call the Horde, which is completely impossible for me to score at any point in this game. So it just got pitched. Then I got Overwhelming Force, which said I could choose to keep it, which I did not because, again, Lane is only on 1 objective. So we went.
Not Overwhelming Force, Storm Hostile.
Objective. Oh, Storm Hostile. Storm Hostile. Yeah. Sorry. So I pushed that one, but that one goes back to the deck. So we're getting a little crazy with it here. As you can see, I've moved out and encompassed the map. So what we did, we could not pick anybody up. So these guys just stuck back here and stick at this objective. We did scout move the Rhino up to here, and then we disembarked, putting the Strike Marines here for later in the game. Then these ones moved over here and are going to attempt to terraform this objective. Then the Rhino advanced up there. I actually had to roll a dice for it because it doesn't automatically just shoot up there. Just got to block the way and just be obnoxious for this turn. Over here, the Interceptors jumped out and they're going to try and terraform this objective. And then the Terminators, I brought them down. They landed right over her. And since they are a battle line unit, and this mission allows me to do actions and still shoot, they did this action. So they're going to try and terraform here. And they shot all of their glory into this guy.
Indicator.
1 side cannon, dinged it, did 2 damage. So not a whole lot. That's why we just rolled through it. I knew that I wasn't gonna pick it up with Terminators, not in the shooting phase. And there will be no charges. So that's it. I will get a 10 on secondaries for the turn, and we're gonna pass it over to Lane and see how he responds.
So I also pulled extend battle lines and got area denial. And while it's possible for me to score area denial, I don't think I'm going to go for that this turn. What I'm going to go for is killing things. So we oathed these guys. Now, Grey Knights have shenanigans, where if you move within 9 inches of them, they can, for 1 CP, they can miss some demos away.
Advance, move, or fall back.
However, disembarking from a vehicle does not trigger that. So I moved the Land Raider just
For
outside of 9.
FAQ, if you guys are wondering, it is in the FAQ that disembarking is the setup. The reason that you can Overwatch is because Overwatch specifically does state moved or set up.
Yeah. Would you like to Overwatch, DJ?
You're silly.
So I moved the Land Raider just outside of 9 inches, so it didn't trigger miss of demos, and the Rhino cannot miss of demos. He's not a jump back unit. And then I got the aggressors out.
Unit, that don't matter. He's just Grey Knights. He isn't a teleport assault unit.
Okay. And then the aggressors got out here so that they can shoot, and then they'll have like a 6-inch charge to get into these guys. Neat. And then we just lined up some tanks so we can shoot the Rhino and these guys here. I'll put a few shots in the Terminators. Hopefully I kill at least 2 of them because they'll come back to life. And then, yeah, because they have an apothecary in there.
Yep.
But yeah, he's going to get that one. I'm not going to have to put too much and try to kill those Terminators. I'm not going to do it this turn. So I'm going to do some shooting and see how it goes. Pew, 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 pew. So Iron Hands did some shooting. We did pick up the Rhino. We picked this 5-man strike squad here that we're trying to terraform. Don't do any terraforming. We did some shooting here, and we're able to pick up 6 of these guys. 5. 5?
5.
There's only 4 left.
I should have one more. Oh well. Yeah, maybe I was wrong. Okay, 6.
Because we did a lot of shooting there. And then
it was the Gladiator Reaper that did most of the work.
Yeah, I did 7 mortals. Spike did 7 mortals here.
I was feeling good after the aggressor shot, and then the Reaper came in there and said, "Oh, by the way, I do devastating wounds."
Yeah, I probably should have thrown a grenade over there with the aggressors, but we didn't do that. And then we shot these guys a whole bunch. So the Vindicator rolled 6 on his number of shots because of blast. That means I got 11 shots. Ended up doing 5 or 6 wounds because there was no rerolls. DJ made all of his 4-up inballs.
Love it.
Fired the ballistas. Got 2 wounds with the last cannon. DJ made all of his inballs. And then I got 2 crack missile shots through, but it was only enough damage to pick up 1 guy. So not exactly what I wanted there, but we killed some other stuff. And then these aggressors with Ironfather Pharaohs are going to charge into these guys here. So let's see if we make that charge, and then we'll be back. Boop. We bopped all the guys. So that squad's gone. We have taken the objective. We shut down 2 of DJ's terraforming attempts and killed some good stuff. But left the Terminators untouched because we only killed 1, and he will come back. DJ, we've talked through this because terraforming completes at the end of my turn, and DJ can also pick up, Grey Knights units at the end of my turn. We're erring on the side of caution for this battle report and saying the Terminators cannot pick up.
In order to complete the terraform. So they have to stay there so the terraform is done. Go ahead and, if in the comments section you guys have some places you can point us in the direction of it. I did look at the FAQ. I do see where it says scoring, but this isn't scoring, this is completing the action. So I'm not 100% sure if I can do this because it is Lane's turn, which means he could pick the order. Obviously, he would pick it the way that would be less advantageous to me, but they are both controlled by me. So we're not sure. We're going to leave the Terminators there for this time. Please leave us comments if you guys have any opinions on how terraform would work with the Grey Knights and being able to pick up. Yeah.
So DJ did successfully terraform that objective. And I only scored 5 on primary for extend battle lines. And then I did area denial. I killed everything in the middle here, but I did not get myself in the middle. And so that's it for my turn. On to DJ.
Looking at sabotage and overwhelming force. So after a successful terraform of this objective, we got a 10 on primary. Good start to the game. And that'll be 2 points I will score for the duration of the game. There's nothing Lane can do to stop it. So, bam, it's mine. Now, as to other things, we did pick up everything else except for the Terminators on the field. We have overwhelming force. Did I say it right this time? Yes, overwhelming force and sabotage. So, we're going to sabotage this objective. Or not this objective. This piece of terrain. So that's going to be worth 3 points. Pretty confident that the Terminators will survive. And once again, being a battle line unit, they're still going to be able to shoot even while they're doing it. Now, as far as overwhelming force is concerned, These aggressors got to go. So we are putting everything I possibly can into them. There is a character and the aggressors. So if I take both of them out, I then score, I get the 5 points for it. Just got to take them down. So we have these there's 2 strike units here, both within 9 inches of Ironfather Pharaohs. So no matter what, Lane cannot stop me from having a 9-inch charge at least into this. Librarian and his Terminators land, also within 9. And then we brought these Interceptors in. Now the Interceptors over here and over here have a different role. They are getting prepared for what the Plasma Inceptors can do when they land. So once these guys shoot, they're going to scoot back onto this objective so that Lane can't just drop within 3 inches and take the objective from me. These guys are going to kind of provide a buffer so that Lane can't just drop in and smack me from as well in the same area. So that's kind of what I'm going to be doing with those 2 units. All right, let's do some shooting. So Terminators shooting down here at the, no damage. No damage. No damage at all. Wasn't what I was expecting, but hey, we're scoring points. That's what we're worried about right now. Now, over here, Librarian did 5 mortal wounds. They feel the aggressors feel no pain, 5 of them.
Yeah, you did 5 mortals, and I feel no pain 4 of them. Lucky roll, I feel no pain, so I only took 1 from the Librarian. But obviously took a few more wounds.
Yeah, we're getting over there. We're getting over there. Side cannons did a good amount of chip shots. The Interceptors, they jumped back over here to protect the objective from a drop-in. Same with these Interceptors. They moved just here to protect the corner a little bit, and they're hiding back there. These strike. Their side cannons didn't do too much, but their bolters came to play, knocking out 2 aggressors by themselves. And now we're down to 2 aggressors, one of which has damage, and Ironfather Pharaohs. So all that is left to do is some charges. We got quite a few, and 2 CP. Let's see if we can make it happen. Only 1 unit made it into combat, and they were quite angry. Terminators made it in and beat up the aggressors, but Ironfather Pharaohs lives with 2 wounds remaining. He swung back and smacked one of my Terminators away. So we will only get 1 unit for overwhelming force, which will still give us 3 points. And then we're waiting on the sabotage, which doesn't score until the end of Lane's turn. But we did take this objective away. Happy days. And so that means Lane will only get a 4 on primary. And that's where we're going to begin with. And we're going to shift it over into Lane. All right. Over to Lane and the Iron Hands, turn 2.
So I pulled Containment and Defend Stronghold. And we're going to try to contain and defend our stronghold. So I moved up here. I oath a moment these guys. And I forgot that they have the Sigil of Exigence, so they'll just bop away. And then these, I did give him the +1 to hit from the Tech Marine. I moved up here. DJ did bop away these strike guys or interceptor guys.
Strike.
Mr. Demos.
Right.
There. And then I dropped in a whole bunch of plasma inceptors over here. So we're going to do some terraforming here. Probably, maybe. Unless I want to shoot at those guys. I don't know. We'll see how we feel. He's going to start terraforming. He may stop so that he can start shooting. Anyways, and let's do some shoots. So DJ made a decision not to do the Sigil of Exigence to get these guys to bounce away.
I tested mine. I thought I could handle it. Apparently I couldn't.
Yeah, I did spend 2 CP on Mercy's Weakness for this guy to really get a whole bunch of hits into them, and did end up picking up the entire Terminator squad. The Librarian's left there, so we're going to test our luck with the Tank Shock. He does have a Feel No Pain to Mortals. We'll see how that goes for him. Plasma Inspectors did some shooting, kind of whiffed for the most part. Did pick up this 1 squad here, but that's up. Didn't pick any up from this squad or anything. So that's about it. Land Raiders just doing some stuff, terraforming. So, and then that's it. On to DJ's.
Oh, you picked up 3 Terminators over here, though.
No, I did pick up a couple Terminators. The Vindicator again whiffed, just because DJ's. I rolled.
You rolled a lot of shots, and then you missed.
I had 10 shots, and I rolled 8 1s and 2s. So I guess I need to put Oath of Moment on them if I want to kill them. I charged in with this Gladiator Reaper and Tank Shocked. I spiked the Tank Shock dice real hard. Now, the Librarian only had 2 wounds left, and I did 6 mortals on the Tank Shock, because now that it's based off his toughness 10, still 5 ups. I spiked it hard, and then DJ did have Feel No Pains, but it got just enough wounds through to finish the Librarian off. So that completes my turn.
All right, so a little bit of housekeeping real quick. I did make a mistake on that. The librarian does not have a feel no pain against mortal wounds. It is only against psychic attacks. So strike one. Strike two, I was also under the misconception because of the fact that he was leading a unit in the shooting phase when he was getting shot. But then he wasn't leading a unit anymore. So yeah, I totally messed that one up. So before anyone hammers the comment section, I'm sorry, my bad.
He took 6 mortals and he took them all.
Yeah, he died. He died hardly. Okay, so now into the Grey Knight turn, we got Cleanse and Storm hostile objectives. So we need to flip an objective and we need to cleanse. So what we did is we dropped in our last squad of Strike just outside of 9. So we were able to cleanse this objective. And since they're a battle line unit, they can still shoot and complete actions. The Terminators, they're going after this Land Raider because that's going to be, as long as we flip the objective, we storm the hostile objective and score the points. And my Terminators have a significantly higher OC value than the Land Raider. Over here, the Interceptors and the Strike are moving in position to try and take out most of these Plasma Inceptors, or at least get them to a point where they are not as annoying, to say the least. And then over here, the Strike are moving up, and they're going to be brave boys, and they're going to go punch a tank. And that's going to be what we're looking at. So first, though, before we go punching tanks, we're going to shoot some guns and see how that works out. Finishing off the shooting phase, we were able to pick up these pesky little jump guys over here, just to not have to deal with their secondary objectives and all that stuff. And then over here, we were successful in finishing off Ironfather Pharaohs. And last but not least, we did some damage over here to the Plasma stuff. Not quite enough to pick them up, but enough to whittle them down. We got one guy over here down to 1 wound, finished one off from there, finished one off from here. So now we're going to do some charges and see what we can pick up. And gave ourselves devastating wounds to just be able to have a little bit more punch. Lane was about to Armor of Contempt until I reminded him the Grandmaster says, no, no, no. So instead he saved it for later. We were able to drop the Land Raider down to 6 wounds, but most importantly, we stopped it from terraforming and took the objective. So that's going to help keep Lane back on primary. Over here, not as much success. We rushed in here with the Strike, and they were able to punch one guy down because there was 2 left in there, right? There was 2 over here, I think, at the beginning. Yeah, and then we only picked up 1 over here. Interceptors also whiffed-ish. Lane Armor of Contempt, which kept another guy alive. So one's down to 1 wound, and 1 guy went away who was damaged. And this one, we just tied him up just so that he couldn't, if he wants to jump away or wants to try and play any games, it's not going to be as easy. So that's it for my... Oh, yeah. And then over here, we punched a tank. And we did what? We did 2 damage to it?
2 damage.
We got 2 damage on it. Yeah, buddy. So that's going to be it for my turn. We will get 6 points on secondaries and hand it over to Lane.
So I pulled Marked for Death and Overwhelming Force. DJ doesn't have that many units. So what he did was he chose the Terminators and these 2 squads here. If I kill one of those, I get 5 points. Neat. I backed up the Land Raider, and DJ decided not to bop away. He decided just to hold tight. And we're going to see how much damage I can do into those Terminators. That's about it. We just kind of scooched around so we can shoot Terminators. They are my oath target. I hate them a whole lot. We're going to see if we can make them go away, see if they stop making 4 pinballs. Well, we didn't finish off the Terminators. We'd hoped to do so because, of course, Overwhelming Force and Marked for Death. So we didn't finish them off. Did do a bunch of damage and killed a bunch of them. Again, the Gladiator Reaper does a lot of work because DJ's rolling a lot of 4-up saves there. We had the Plasma Inceptors here blasting into these guys, and 1 is left from this squad, so we didn't finish them off from Marked for Death. And then
got a chance to punch him, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, sure. Got a chance to punch him. Yep, that's it. That's it for the shooting. I guess fight a little bit. Not much happened in the 5 phase other than 2 Plasma Inceptors died. I failed to kill my units from Marked for Death, and I did not do Overwhelming Force either. So it looks like a big 0 here. Of course, if DJ is to pick up any of his units, then then I score it. So we'll see what happens there. We'll see if he picks anything up. DJ, are you picking up any of your marked for death units?
Yeah, that's going to be a big no.
What? Oh.
No, we're going to stay there.
All right.
So first and foremost, we have Lane's got some secrets going on.
I have chosen a secret mission.
Now, there are two stipulations for a secret mission. Number one, you have to be turn 3, and you select it, well, secretly. And you need to be less in primary or tied. So since I've had pretty good primary games so far, Lane is opting to do that. This turn, I start off by scoring 16. What was it? 18 on primary because I have all 3 objectives in the center controlled. I spent a command point to battle shock or auto pass battle shock on these guys. OC 2 apiece, take the objective and make it sticky. Over here, they passed their battle shock and their OC 3 per guy, 2 for the Grandmaster, and they took that. And then these guys made this objective sticky, and then they walked away. I know I'm going to lose that one in a hot second, but make them have to commit.
Oh, it's 15 for primary. You're capped at 15.
Oh, well, that's
just 15, sir.
It's still just 15. So what was it? What did I say originally? 18 was what I scored. So I lost 3 points on that on my guesstimate.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Still 15 on primary. These Terminators are going to be ready. We're going to try and finish off Land Raider. I spent a command point to shuffle out. I had Assassinate, and I thought about going after this Tech Marine, but I have to get really, really close. I couldn't just shoot him because he's got lone op near the vehicle. So I decided to shuffle out. Instead, I got Establish Locus and Recover Assets. So since this game, I'm able to complete actions and shoot with my units. That's what we're going to do. These guys are going to recover assets here. We're going to recover over here because we can do an engagement too. We're going to recover, or these guys are going to establish the locus. So we're not going to get the max points, but we're still going to get a really strong amount of points being able to score those. And then the Terminators are going to try and finish off this Land Raider to get it out of the center. That's about it. Oh, over here we fell back with the last lone interceptor. He got overwatched, survived, and these Strike Marines that are going to shoot back and try and, see if we can't do some damage to those last interceptors. All right, let's do a little shooting, a little fighting, and see how this all pans out. So I made a minor adjustment afterwards. I looked at I got 2 strike on there, so we got OC4 holding this. So Lane can't just walk up and take it. He's got to actually clear the guys off. Make them do work. On to other things. We did shoot at the Land Raider. This side cannon hit home and did 2 damage. Land Raider Terminators charged. We're able to put 2 more damage onto it. So we got it down to 2, but it's still there. Over here, we got hit by a plate. Something smacked us and took one of our strike down. We'll still be able to finish our secondary for it, but we will lose the objective and Lane will get some primary points. And over here we did shoot and we were able to take out the 1 interceptor that was beaten up. And we still have 1 interceptor left alive. So that's about it. That's going to end my turn. We got 6 points for secondaries. And we're going to kick it over to Lane and the bottom of turn 4.
I have kept Marked for Death and Overwhelming Force. I didn't discard either of those at the end of my last turn because DJ doesn't have a whole lot of units left on the table, so I'm going to try to kill them. So we moved a little bit here. I moved these tanks and the Dreadnought up. DJ decided to miss the Demos away with those guys. The whatever they are, strike squad that was there. I had oathed the Terminators, so he decided to keep them there. I was able to fall back with the Land Raider, and they stayed there. That's about it. No other movement anywhere else. We're just going to try and see if we can kill a few things here. Well, we got the Terminators. Took a lot of shooting and threw some grenades from these guys here. So we got that. Just picked up one of these strike guys and picked up the last one with the Plasma Scepter so that he can die on the next turn. But that's it for my turn. So 10 on secondaries because I did score Overwhelming Force and my other one Marked for Death. So on to DJ's turn.
All right, last turn was messy for me. I got no prisoners. I True Engage on all fronts, which the card now courteously lets me pitch it because I only have 2 units left. Went into behind enemy lines, pitched that into to just go into area denial. So we're in denial. So with Lane having the secret mission, I'm pretty sure I figured out which one it is, and we'll see if I'm right. Needless to say, if he's trying to table me, I'm in a good position because I pulled these guys back and they can't be hit. But I don't think he's trying to do that. I think he's trying to hold 3 objectives in no man's land. So we made the charge over here with East Strike. We lost 1 to an Overwatch, and now we're just gonna pray that they can live and hold that objective, which is basically impossible. Yeah, so we'll get points for no prisoners. We killed 1 unit, so we get 2 points there. And that's going to be it. All right, over to Lane to close this one out. And I actually think he's got this off of a secret mission.
So on my final turn, DJ and I added up the score. He was ahead of me by 6 points. So if I scored 6 points, I would tie him. If I scored 7 points, I would beat him. So I pulled Establish Locust and Sabotage. Sabotage I could do in my deployment zone or in the no man's land for 3. And Establish Locust, I wasn't close enough to his deployment zone to pull it off, so I wouldn't have been able to get the 4. So I spent the CP for new orders and pulled Cleanse. So I was able to cleanse 2 objectives in no man's land for 4 points. And then I was able to sabotage in no man's land for 3 points, giving me 7 points, giving me 81. And so...
Hold on, you're missing a very critical point here. How did you score randomly 20 points on second on primary?
Listen, guys. I did a secret mission. Unbroken Wall. Oh, here we go. Unbroken Wall is just you have to control at least 3 objectives that are not in your deployment zone. And I figured later in the game, DJ's movement shenanigans, if I took the tabling one, he might be able to stay away from me, but I figured I could probably control at least 3 objectives outside of my deployment zone. So I did the secret mission, so that scored me 20 on primary. I was pretty far behind on primary. It gave me 40 on primary. DJ scored 41 on primary. And then it scored just a couple more points on secondary. So Iron Hands, Iron Storm Spearhead, 81. Grey Knights, 80. Super duper close game, guys. As far as, close in terms of points. This is all that's left on the table from the Grey Knights, and there are many, many tonks left on the table here. But obviously, it just goes to show that when it comes down to the score, it doesn't matter who kills more, it matters who scores more. And DJ played the game very well and scored very well there. So that's it, guys. Iron Hands, 81. Grey Knights, 80. Oh, follow us over to the post-game battle report. We'll talk a little bit about the game.